My thoughts on the Uber protests coming up in February 14th and half measures. Hi, my name is Levi, and this is the Daily Drive. Today's Daily Drive is brought to you by Tonquin. With Tonquin, you deliver car parts from auto parts suppliers like AutoZone or O'Reilly, and you deliver them to car repair shops. Tonquin works just like any other gig app. Basically, you turn it on during the day and you'll get orders, and you can pick and choose which orders you want to take, and it's really simple. I like it because Tonquin works kind of like in that middle part of the day when Uber and Lyft are a little bit slow. I can use Tonquin to basically fill that time. Check them out. Click on the link in the description. Let them know that Levi from Tip You in the App sent you. I'd really appreciate it. Go check out Tonquin. So the big news is that February 14th, there's this organized protest. Now, I'm not really sure about this protest. I've got a couple of things I want to push back on. But first, let me tell you, if you want to protest and you don't want to do work and support Uber and Lyft, I understand. Uber and Lyft are definitely worthy of our protest, our angst. They're not good companies, and they should do better. And this is one way that we as drivers can take a little bit of control back. But I think it's a half measure. Hear me out. You know what I'm talking about, a half measure. So a half measure is just not doing things the best that you possibly can to a full extent. If you really want to protest Uber and Lyft and you really want to hurt them so that way they make the changes that you think they need to make, why not just turn the apps off now and not turn them back on until your demands are met? Just stopping work one day, it might make them take notice, but the reality is there's just not enough people that are going to participate in the protest. And furthermore, it's just one day. So that's kind of a half measure. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really going to put a big dent in Uber. The second thing about it is, and I don't have a way to prove this, but I don't think a lot of the people demanding a protest and slash actually actively going out and protesting are full-time Uber drivers. I think there are some, and I'm not saying there aren't, but a lot of them are like fake accounts that I can tell. They're not using their real names. You know, it just doesn't seem real. Doesn't mean the reason for it isn't real. Because, yeah, I mean, Uber and Lyft deserve, some of our critiques and stuff like that. However, I just can't find a real human doing this. Now, there's some leaders, let's say like the Rideshare professor. I think he's a real guy, and I think there's a few others out there. But for the most part, it just seems like spammy accounts that aren't real. And unions operate this way, and which leads me to my final point. The whole reason that I became a rideshare driver, particularly with Uber, is for flexibility and freedom. And I think like the unions or people looking to the government to solve these problems, I think my big concern is like that kind of gives up that flexibility and freedom, right? I mean, joining a union or becoming an employee according to the government or whatever, that kind of defeats the whole purpose. I think a lot of us trade income, the potential that we could make, for flexibility and freedom. And so when it comes to like this protest, I just think it's a half measure by a lot of accounts that I don't know are real. And while it's worthy, right, the companies deserve this, I don't even know what the demands are. I don't know if the people protesting have the same demands that I have. And the whole point of being a gig worker is for flexibility and freedom. I want to be my own guy. I don't want to tie my horse, to somebody else. I just don't want to. I don't even tie my horse is the right word, but I just don't want to be linked with other drivers. I want to build a community, and that's what Tip You in the App is. It's a community. It's a chance for you and me and us to connect and talk about ways to do this better and, complain when passengers are crappy or maybe the rideshare companies are crappy. There's room for improvement. I just don't want to do it through a union, and I definitely don't want to protest, and I definitely don't think this protest is going to solve it. And I don't know who those people are protesting anyway. So let me know what you think. like and subscribe. Let's talk about it in the comments. This is a community where we dialogue, right? And we go back and forth. Before you do that, check out Voom. Voom is rideshare insurance for professional drivers, people that go like 20, 30 hours a week, because with Voom, you only pay for the rideshare insurance that you need. If you're driving your car 70-80% of the time with Uber and Lyft, they got you covered. So what Voom does is you only pay for personal insurance when you're not using Uber and Lyft. It's a great thing. They're in like 3 states now. Check them out. I think it's Colorado, Tennessee, and Arizona. If they're not in your state yet, click on this link. You can check them out. Be well, be safe. Know that I'm cheering for you.